So here's the thing. I made this video about 6 months ago and I kinda forgot about it. So I found it again and I think it's actually not bad. But as you'll notice, the title is 50 days instead of 100. That's because I forgot about it when I was on like day 53-ish. So we're going to 50 instead because I didn't record 100 days. Enjoy and subscribe. In this video, I'll be surviving 100 days of hardcore Minecraft without sprinting. No running, no jogging, just walking. So let's walk right into it. I loaded my world and spawned into a taiga biome, but first I must disable my sprint key. Normally when I play Minecraft, my pinky is glued on the sprint key. I think that these 100 days will help me reconnect with the slow and relaxing part of Minecraft. And speaking of slow, it's time to punch this tree until it gives me its wood. I used my newly made wooden pickaxe to hollow out the stone from this hill. And after a bit of digging, I had a clear path through this mountain. And I made my first stone pickaxe. I then decorated this side of the hole with a nice entrance. I then saw the setting sun of day 1, but this view was not good enough. But I found a wonderful view of the first departure of this celestial body that tracks my progress through this world. I then posed for a nice selfie of me and this cow. When I got back to my house, I realized that I had no bed yet. So I spent the night getting attacked by zombies and decorating more of the house. On the morning of day 2, I got this cool image of the sun shining through my hobbit hole. I spent the rest of the morning finishing laying down the spruce. Now the first stage of the house is done. Later I journeyed to some ocean that I had found earlier to get some food. While whacking these fish with my stone sword, I realized that no sprinting also means no swimming. The ocean may be dangerous for me now, but at least it has some meat. Back at the house, and now I'm making this important path down the hill. Then I built a campfire and spent the evening smoking this cod. Hopefully I'll be able to get a bed soon so I don't spend the whole night digging a random hole in a mountain like I did this night. On the morning of day 3, I greeted this interdimensional man with my blade. I then spent the rest of the morning failing to make a nice campfire seat design. I'll settle on these for now. I then mowed the path that connects the house to the campfire. I then looked at this thing that I had made last night. Maybe it's my insomnia talking, but I think this could be a nice storage room. So I worked on it for a bit longer and created this semi-detailed thingy. Then I watched the day 3 sunset from my path. During the nighttime of day 3, I made this room on the right side of my cave. My goal on day 4 was to get a bed, and if I get one, I'll put it here. After finishing the walls of this room, I set out to find some sheep. And after a bit of walking, I found some swamp sheep. After collecting the wool of 3 sheep in a humane way, I crafted my bed. I even dyed it with this flower I picked up. Doesn't it look so cozy? Then when the sun set on day 4, I slept and made it day 5. I then spent the morning of day 5 chopping trees. Then I carved out a section of wall across from my bedroom. Once I finished carving it out, I started laying down the spruce. Eventually, I made enough chests for a whole storage wall. After sorting my items for a little while, I realized that it was time to go to bed. But I had Mom leave the light on, just in case. On the morning of day 6, I set out to do some fishing. I rowed my boat down this hill to get there. Whee! When I said I was going fishing, I really meant that I was going to whack some cod. I returned home with a bunch of fish and began cooking my sushi. I spent the rest of the day chopping wood and cooking food. I went to bed with all preparations done for the next day. Oh yeah, we're going mining today. I carved out a wonderful downward staircase with 5 blocks of airspace per layer. After digging for a while, I discovered this lava pool. Luckily, the pool had a cave connected to it. I wandered into the dark when I found this mutated cave creature. He might have just wanted a hug, but I was not going to take that chance. The rest of the cave was free of any monsters, but had so much iron which I took. I then left the cave via my stairs. I found that it was nighttime when I returned. It was time to go to bed, so I did that. In the morning of day 8, I made 4 furnaces to cook my iron in. And now I'm looking pretty good, but we're going to ignore the fact that I made 2 helmets. I then used my bucket to make this pond, I don't know. Then I returned to the mine to make a path through the lava. Now I'm strip mining at Y5, just me and the deep slate. I mined until my pickaxe completely broke. Then I was reminded that I can't sprint. Also stairs. Then I went to bed. And now it's the start of day 9. I don't remember why I made a sign. I must have felt proud or something. But I did more mining today. I also found this huge vein of iron. Now I'm rich! I then used the iron to finally make myself some nice shoes. I then replaced my stone tools with iron ones, but I don't want a second hoe. Then I went to bed in my new iron PJs. When I woke up on day 10, I went straight to the mine. And I'm glad I did it because I found some diamonds! Oh, this feels so good. Now I've got 5 diamonds in my pocket. This is really good. I also finished placing these polished deep slate stairs today. And now it's nap time. On the morning of day 11, I checked on this small farm that I didn't tell you about. But I found a big slime by the small farm. And after killing it and its offspring, I had 11 slime balls. I then made a diamond pickaxe and used it to mine some obsidian, which I then used to build and light another portal. But I'm not going through just yet. I then harvested the small farm and made a new one over here. In the evening, I made this small animal pen and corralled 2 cows into it, and then I slept again. On the morning of day 12, I saw that the sides of my path looked pretty bad. So I added some cobble deep slate supports and now it looks a little better. Then I set out for a bit of exploring. I then killed some of the cattle of Helios. I'm sure this won't come back to bite me. Next, I came across this cave that I did not fall into. I also grabbed some iron from this small cave. I then encountered this creeper who was no match for my right mouse button. Then I journeyed back home without checking coordinates. And now I'm back home. My navigation skills are impeccable. Then I settled in for a good night's sleep. I started off day 13 by making this small sugarcane farm near the wheat farm. Then I crafted this compass even though I obviously don't need it. Then I left my home for another adventure. The first thing I did was grab some swamp sugar for our future enchanting setup. Soon I scrammed from the swamp to sail across the sea. It didn't take too long, but I found some more taiga. And now I'm walking through this woods because... Wait, what's that? It's a giant tree taiga. This is great. This is one of my favorite biomes. And not just because of the mushrooms. I was walking through the woods when these guys spawned in front of me. I approached them with caution, and after blocking their arrows, I took out the captain. Eventually, I dealt with the rest of them, and I don't feel bad at all. They attacked me first. I used this river to connect back to the ocean in my boat, and then I paddled home. Good night, fellow adventurers. For breakfast on day 14, I cured my bad omen. Then I went mining again. Nothing really happened except for this one attack by this silverfish. Funnily enough, the setting sun that I saw through an unloaded chunk told me it was time to go to bed. I was so tired that I slept in my day clothes, again. On day 15, I planted more cane. I need more. And when I went mining, I had no issues with lava whatsoever. But then I uncovered these babies. Ooh. After that great day, I slept pretty soundly. I spent the morning of day 16 clearing all the trees off of this hill. Today there was a report of a sewer being clogged by obsidian. I didn't see anything. Later, when I was innocently shoveling some dirt, the cops showed up. They were on to what I had done, so I silenced them. I destroyed the evidence with some milk and moved on with my day. The rest of which I spent leveling the top of this hill. But I couldn't sleep because I was still dirty, so I took care of that first. That's bitter. But I'm back in the dirt day 17 and loving it. Then I spent some time learning how all the deep slate stuff works. Eventually I settled on polished deep slate and deep slate tile. I guess I haven't told you what I'm building here yet. I want a house. My mountainside hole is nice and all, but it has a noticeable lack of a front door. And obviously, if it has a door, it's home. And even though it has no door yet, at least the floor is done. Okay, this looks good, but it needs something. Mental image down, and now I've pasted that image here. And now I can rest in my new spot. I started day 18 by installing some windows. I was so happy that I decided to raise the roof. Then I added these arches in the corner, which really ties the room together. Then I went to the swamp to find some clay. Not to do the diamond trick because I am an honest Minecraft player. Also, I don't know how. Nah, it was for a couple of flower pots for these corners. Then it got dark, so I went to bed in my new cool room. I started day 19 by chopping wood. I'm gonna need it. Then I put logs in the corners of my house. How creative. But after some framework, you can definitely see where this is going. Then I went to get some sand for windows and did a sick water bucket play. I got some sand, but then the sun started setting, so I went home. While I slept, I accidentally shoved this food in my face. The first thing I did on day 20 was start smelting my sand for glass. Then I walked down to the water to harvest my sugarcane. With some more reeds in my possession, I crafted this book from Cattle of Helios leather. I then used the book, 2 diamonds, and 4 obsidian and made myself an enchanting table. Hagrid should be coming any day now to tell me that I'm a wizard. While I was waiting, I went back to the house and installed the rest of the windows. Then I climbed on top of the frame and started putting up the roof. But I was running low on deep slate, so I guess tomorrow I'll be getting more. And that's exactly what I did for most of day 21. I was down in the mine for quite a while. It was actually quite relaxing. I mined deep slate until I got nervous about my pickaxe durability. I then spent the rest of the day laying down more roof. Then I climbed down from the rafters and went to bed. On day 22, I skipped breakfast and went straight back to roofing. Stair, 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 different stair times 2. Stair. And after doing that for a while longer, I had a finished roof. Then in the evening I made this nice coffee table and sofa. Then I watched the sunset from my bed before I slept in it. The bed, not the sunset. The first thing I did on day 23 was install a self-destruct lever. I'll tell you what it does later. Then I went to the farm to harvest all the wheat, all except this one divergent. Then I made the cows make more cows. I wonder how this works. I then made the most intimidating throne ever. I hereby declare myself the king, because I rule. I then sat in this spot for a very long time, waiting for the sun to go into the perfect spot for a screenshot. I then went to bed and saw sunrise when I gave the word. I started day 24 by removing these furnaces and digging out a new room in the mountain hole. Then I added some bookshelves and the enchanting table. Eventually this will hold a beautiful max enchantment setup. But for now I guess I'll settle for Bane of Arthropods and no lapis. Later in the day I randomly decided to sail across this ocean. And I unexpectedly found a village. This thing is right across the sea as well. This is awesome. I hung out for a little while, but then it was time to go home. I went to bed and dreamed of the new adventure I had just uncovered. Today I went back to the swamp to get some more swamp sheep. Eventually I got 2 of the wild sheep and an extra cow back into the pen. And after shearing the sheep a couple times, I set out for the next part of the operation. I cleared the top layer of sand off this beat. Then I added a floor in the same style as my house. And I speed bridged my way into making the spruce frame around it. Now I've got the start of a makeshift box-style villager breeder for my friends across the sea. Then I went to bed with the setting sun shining through my window. I started off day 26 by adding windows to the breeder. Then once I had started and finished the roof, the structure was done. So I sailed back to the village and then invited this guy to the new world. Once we had gotten home, it seemed like he wanted to go back. So I left him in the boat for the night and went to bed. On the morning of day 27, I finally got this villager into the breeder. Then I sailed back to the village and brought back this second villager. And when I finally got this guy in, the breeder is now done. Now I just need to add beds and food whenever I want a villager. So I spent the rest of the day chopping some wood and shearing the sheep. So that night I added 2 more beds to the breeder, but I think this guy still wants the one back at his home. So I went and slept in the bed that I had to work for and wasn't just given. On day 28 I paddled back to the village and broke every single bed in the whole place. This villager wants to play Bed Wars? Oh, we're playing Bed Wars. So I added those beds to the breeder too and then distributed rations. And finally, a baby! Wonder how this works. Then I planted 2 large spruce trees. I'm gonna need a lot of wood. I spent the rest of the day laying down the wood I had to make this thing. I'll tell you what it is later. That night I slept in a motel with no room service. Who thought this was a good idea? I was walking back up to my house on day 29 when I heard this. Excuse me, sir. What do you think you're doing? Are you kidding me? That was hand-carved mahogany. No, you can't come in. Stop! Come back! Come down from there. You're not fit for that throne. If you don't leave now, I'm calling the cops. Oh wait, I already killed them. That's it. Be gone, you jabroni. With that situation taken care of, I began chopping down the 2 large spruce trees. Then I was only able to place a little bit of spruce before bed. When I got back to the motel, no one had even made my bed when I was gone. On day 30, I did nothing but place spruce. I did have to place and then break some of the spruce to get rid of the water, and that bit of variety was thrilling. When I got back to the motel, I requested a room change, and they gave it to me. It wasn't much better, though. On day 31, I began construction on what this thing actually is. And what it's going to be is an iron farm. I personally think that iron farms are the best industrial farm to have for villager trading. Do I feel bad that I'm going to be killing hundreds of the iron protectors that are so noble? No. An iron golem killed me in one of my first ever hardcore worlds. To be fair, it was because I attacked him first and I didn't know how strong they were, so he killed me in one shot. But still, I went to bed hoping to finish the machine tomorrow. During the sunlight of day 32, I got 3 villagers in the farm. I then spent the nighttime of day 32 trying to find a zombie who can pick up blocks. I got pretty close with this drown, but then he fell down and the iron golem that he spawned killed him. And even though the morning of day 33 was rainy, I didn't find any other zombies. Early on day 33, I constructed a roof over the farm. I also made a downward funnel in the middle of the farm. And I cleared out the water in it with sand. That night, I failed to get the zombie in the composter not once, but twice. On this attempt, I missed the jump and fell into the hole, but luckily I am a clutch master. Well, I had my first near-death experience tonight. I'm starting to see no sprinting taking a toll on me. We'll skip to the nighttime of day 34 where I'm still trying to get that zombie. I also found some more slime and used this creeper to kill them. Eventually I got this zombie who can hold items by the farm, but I again failed this jump. Luckily I had already placed water there in case this happened again. I used my water bucket to get back to the top, and the zombie was on the trapdoor, so I double-clicked it and now he's in! Woohoo! Now the farm is officially done. It took so long and I'm so happy it's over. On day 35, I went mining for iron to make hoppers. Unfortunately, once my pickaxe broke, I only had 6 more iron. It's pretty ridiculous that I made a whole iron farm and now I can't use it because all my iron is on my throne. This was a sorrow night's sleep. But on day 36, I found a way to make the farm work with only 1 hopper. This water will push the golems into one corner and then I will collect their iron with this campfire. So I spent the evening of day 36 waiting for golems to spawn, but none did. So I sat in this one spot for a while I checked to make sure all the parts were in the right spots. And they were. Whatever, I'll figure it out tomorrow. So on day 37 I started the iron investigation. There's the problem. If a golem is within a certain radius of a village that is being scared by a zombie, they won't spawn a new golem, so I gotta get this guy out of here. I planned to use some leads to get him out of there, but I didn't have enough string to craft them. There was always this one spot in my mind where I could hear constant monster sounds. Maybe I can find a spider down there. I started digging around in that spot and these sounds scared me almost as much as this silverfish. Then I broke this block and realized what I had uncovered. A mine shaft. And a cave spider spawner at that. So I sneakily excavated over and around the spawner. Then I got a torch from the spawner and grabbed some string. Then I left because I feared for my life, haha! Then I returned home and went to bed without breaking my wall at all. I started day 38 by realizing that you don't need 2 string to craft a lead. You need 4. Ugh. So I returned to the spawner and finally got enough string. Next time I'm learning the recipe first. Then I went back home and finally crafted some leads. Then I retrieved this golem from the depths, and after a bit of encouragement inserted him into the farm. I'm being serious when I say that I watched this golem's whole life burn out. Then while I was waiting for more golems, a cat spawned instead. So I tamed him as the sun set and his name is Steel. That night I messed with the farm a bit. I was trying to get more golems to spawn, but then this came up behind me. I was doing an okay job of circling around the horde and smacking them from behind when this guy spawned to help me. Yeah, this guy made quick work of that village invasion and then sacrificed himself to my farm. Which means that it's now finally working. Bye, Mr. Golem. I spent the rest of the night and morning of day 39 adding hoppers to the farm made from the iron it had already made. Apparently I was down in the killing chamber for longer than I thought. I only had time to make 1 blast furnace on day 39. On the morning of day 40, I went back to my mine to grab some exposed coal. Then I sold it to the armorer and leveled him up to apprentice. Then I shorted my iron stocks and made some pretty nice profit. Now that I had some cash in my pocket, I decided to buy 2 chainmail chest plates to level up this guy one last time. And now that he's an expert, I can purchase diamond armor from him. So I did that. I'm talking about diamonds. Diamonds on the soles of my shoes. In the evening, these cows and my axe had some great bonding. Then I went to bed feeling fancy. On the morning of day 41, I crafted 4 more bookshelves and added them to the enchantment setup. Then most of the day was spent chopping trees for a new money-making method. Then I sold to this Fletcher what I told him were magic wands, but these sticks aren't even from a bowtruckle tree. Then I shook the armorer out of bed and took his pants. Wait, that sounded wrong. Then I bought 1 last chainmail chestplate from him and I can see the diamond helmet and diamond chestplate. But for now, I'm going to bed. I call top bunk. On the morning of day 42, I sold more sticks to the Fletcher and then bought a diamond chestplate from the armorer. Then I put on my new shirt and was feeling pretty good. Then some time passed as I waited for the Fletcher to restock, but he eventually gave me more emeralds that I used to buy my final diamond piece from the armorer. And now, I'm blue. Later in the day, I bought a bow and some arrows from the Fletcher, which I totally have a license for. But instead of sleeping, I spent the whole night watching these golems burn. Then, while I was editing day 42, my cat jumped on my desk, so I decided to interview him.
Cat, are you excited about 100 days in Minecraft without sprinting? I'll take that as a yes.
Anyway, on day 43 I made a toolsmith, but he also wanted some coal. So I returned to the mine to get some for him. And then I began leveling him up. I got him halfway through journeyman before he stopped trading. Then I went to bed as Steel meowed outside. On day 44 I went back to the toolsmith and got him to expert level. He's only selling axes and shovels right now, but I want a diamond pickaxe. So I went back to the iron farm and grabbed 42 iron to sell to him. So I used that iron to level him up to a master toolsmith. And then he offered this insane pickaxe. I'm so excited about this. So I proceeded to purchase this powerful pickaxe and put it in its place. But I'm always tired after a great day of capitalism, so I went to bed. On the morning of day 45, I started work on the final equipment villager. But the now routine trip for coal turned into a mineshaft expedition. Nothing too crazy happened. I lit up the mineshaft and grabbed whatever I could carry. I also found some lapis lazuli, and I'm not going to use this to find diamonds because I am rich. When I got back to the surface on day 46, I started breaking down my ores. Instead of just stacking up with ore blocks and then breaking them on the way down, I decided to do a more fun way, so I jitterbridged with the coal ore and didn't fail once. Coal bridge! I also did a small copper god bridge, which felt nice. I then got the weaponsmith halfway through the apprentice level. That night, the golems were having a party. Luckily, it's not a school night. I started day 47 by selling what I got from the golems party. Don't ask how I got it. Anyway, with that iron, I got the weaponsmith to his final form, and now I can purchase a Bane of Arthropods diamond sword. How wonderful. Later in the day, I was tending my crops in the fields. Then I went down to my bovines and fed them my yield. But unfortunately, a bit of mad cow disease got into my herd, so I did what I had to do. I don't really know what that was either, but now I have 3 more bookshelves that I can add to the enchanting setup. And ooh, is that infinity? Yeah, I'm definitely taking that. If Thanos and Marvel have taught me anything, it's that infinity is big. That night I went to bed very excited because now I'm officially an enchanter. Maybe Hagrid will show up today. Or not. But I'm not giving up on a letter from Hogwarts yet, so today I set out to find more cows to finish my enchantment setup. Speaking of enchanting, look at this not disgusting swamp. I was messing around with Optifine earlier when I found this setting, which makes the swamps look not terrible, which I'm totally fine with. During my hunting trip, I was able to find a few cows and also break in my bow a little bit. Then, as I was trying to return home, I found this guy in the woods. Even though Mom says I'm not old enough, I just got myself a dog. When we got back home, I stationed him outside the mountain hole. He wasn't what I expected, but I'm gonna name him Hagrid. He did come today after all. Then I added 2 more shelves to the enchanting setup. Now I'm only 1 short. And even though the setup isn't maxed out yet, I decided to enchant my chestplate and got some pretty nice ones. I also got myself some feather falling 4 boots and a fire protection 4 helmet. I went to bed that night feeling a whole lot safer. And there's no sound on day 49, but all I did was chop down some trees, sell some sticks to the Fletcher, and sell some iron to the weaponsmith. Later, I also harvested some wheat, bred and killed some cows, and finally completed the enchantment setup. And then I went to bed in complete silence! And then I woke up on day 50. The first thing I did was remind you guys about the self-destruct lever. But this is my video, so I'm not telling you what it does yet. Then I spent the day constructing the 50 Days Monument. And there it is, it's beautiful. Of course, on day 50, I realized that I'm only halfway to 100 days, so I'm taking this L. Nah, it's not that, it's just a Roman numeral, at least that's what I'm gonna tell myself. In the evening, I grabbed Steel and Hagrid and we slept together as a family. Well, there you have it. I survived 50 days in hardcore Minecraft without sprinting, and I'm not going to record another 50 days because, I don't want to. So, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. By one, I mean video, by the way. I'm not going to see you in the next, number 1. That'd be kind of strange anyway. Bye!